Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Sammy, United People's TV. Hope you can hear me. Alex, you just joined the live chat. Do not join that live channel on Discord. That is for me pulling people in only. Good morning to all of you. Hopefully today we are going to be launching the live Discord call-ins. I hope it works. And I think today is going to be an appropriate day to hear your opinions as members. Members, you'll be able to join in and have a chat with me for a couple of minutes, because we're going to be speaking about the Marcus Rashford. I mean, is it an interview? It's not really an interview. I suppose it is an interview, but it's a sit-down piece where he speaks with the Players Tribune. There's also a separate video that's gone out, and there has been a mixed reaction, a wide reaction to what Rashford has been saying. So I am going to run through that, and I'm going to run through everything ahead of the derby. I'm not sure if you know. I think you do. The derby's coming on Sunday. We're going to run through the team news, a little bit of conversation ahead of it. Ten Hag's nominated for Premier League Manager of the Month. Højlund's nominated for Player of the Month. Mainu's nominated for Goal of the Month. And Onana's nominated for Save of the Month. Fair play. I really want to get into this Rashford conversation. We'll speak about loads of other things. Who's here from the member gang? Let's have a quick look this morning. Vicky, good morning to you. Carl, good morning to you. Alex, I can see you there. Good morning to you. We've got Brian, Richard, Ross. We've got John. We've got Cedric, Saeed. We've got Stephen, Sandman. We've got Toby, Jim. So many regular faces, so many new faces. Redman, Drew, Fizz. Good morning to you. And Josh, I can see you there. Josh, I hope you're doing well, man. John, you're there as well. Who's here on Facebook? Let's have a quick look. Jim's saying the link to Discord doesn't work. It absolutely does work, because I just used it. But somebody else mods, you can... Actually, no, I can probably just type this in. That is the link. 1 second there. To Discord. And it absolutely does work. I know it works because I've just used it. Who's here on Facebook? Darren Lee Trainer, good morning to you. Priscilla, Musa. We've got Amjad. We've got Foy. Good morning to all of you. Now, to kick off the show, bit of a random talking point here, but I want to say it's sad news. Anybody else watch the Hairy Bikers? I always watch the Hairy Bikers. This is really quite random, really. But the sad news yesterday that Dave Myers passed away, one of the Hairy Bikers. I love that show. I love watching cooking shows. Rick Stein, big up Rick Stein, and big up to Hairy Bikers. So I just want to say that's quite sad news that happened yesterday. As I said, a little bit random, but I wanted to speak about that and say it this morning. And this was a huge bit of news that broke yesterday, wasn't it? There's going to be a video coming out tomorrow, hopefully on the channel, around Paul Pogba's career. Because I mean, where do you even begin, really, with Paul Pogba's career? I honestly don't really know. I really, really don't know. Because for all the success that existed on the pitch, culminated with the World Cup, of course, in 2018, to all the controversies that existed off the pitch, the blackmails with the family, the fallout with Mourinho, his agent Mino Raiola, and everything in between. He's now been banned for 4 years due to doping. He's 30, means he can't kick a ball again as a professional until 2028. He's released a statement saying he's going to appeal, naturally, that he's disappointed and heartbroken with the decision. But, boy, Joe, you're saying that's old news from September. What's new about him? No. Just quite literally yesterday, Joe, this happened. He tested positive. There was no conclusion to it. This literally happened yesterday. So you must have missed that news. So I'm going to release a video hopefully tomorrow on Paul Pogba's career. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think you would enjoy it, and I think he's going to be a player that creates debate. Well, he always was and he always will be. Real sad end to that career. That's what that looks like. But you know what the main story of today's show is going to be. I did my reaction video yesterday, and I gave my point of view on it. So what I want to try and do this morning now, let's see if this works. I'm going to listen to all of your opinions in the comments, and we'll have conversations. We'll pick out some quotes from this Ross, you said down there, it's more like an open letter than an interview, and I think that's a fair way to describe it. It's Rashford giving himself the platform and the opportunity to respond to everything that's been written and said. Now, the first thing I want to say here is the fact that Marcus Rashford feels not obliged. All right, that's the wrong word to use to describe this. The fact that he feels that he wants to respond, because it's part and parcel of being a professional footballer. Tabloids will just pull something out of their arse. They will make it up. And you know that's the case. We know that's the case. That's how they work. But Rashford feels clearly at this point, he's reached a point mentally where he wants to speak out against it. And I think that in itself is quite interesting, if I'm being completely honest. And this was, as I said, it's the thing that really annoys me, man. Just annoyed me straight away from a reaction perspective. PR this, spin that. We rarely hear from footballers, like from a genuine heart-to-heart perspective. We rarely hear anything past a media-trained interview, ever. And the reaction to this tells you exactly fucking why we don't. And exactly why they are so closed off. Why would you? Why would you speak out like a footballer when that's going to be the reaction to it from so many United fans? Like, I can understand it from fans who aren't United fans. And this is my thing that I've always said here, right? And I'll always maintain this. I will back a United player. I will back every United player until I think it's gone past the point of no return. Now, I think some of your points of no return are earlier than mine. But I would much rather be proven wrong about backing a player at the end of it than being proven correct by saying early on, yeah, I told you he wasn't good. I sent this tweet like 6 months ago. I was first. Look at me. Give me all the credit. I don't care for that. And United fans shouldn't care for that. But the reaction to this has been, well, you can see how poisonous the environment is. Planny saying, how is this a heart-to-heart? I did not say it's a heart-to-heart. This is him opening up from his own perspective. And footballers rarely do that. And you're not going to hear anything like this again from Marcus Rashford. You won't hear anything like this probably from many other United players. They'll be like, what's the fucking point? I actually try and speak from my own perspective, but they won't listen. They're just gonna label it as a PR piece. Now let's run through some of the quotes, some of the comments, because I'm opening up the floor. As I said, I'm going to be speaking hopefully to a few of you live in the members area of Discord soon. I wonder when this was recorded. I wonder when this was, why this was released now. Was it always planned to be released now? Was it always planned to be released before the derby? I don't quite know. If I'm honest. If I can ask anybody, please don't tag me on Discord right now. I'm tied into the Discord comments. So somebody's just tagged me on Discord. Don't do that because my notifications go off. So please don't do it whilst I'm on this show. And I'll have to turn it off after this. I'm just asking you for this one now. This is Marcus Rashford here, right? Saying, I'm not a perfect person. When I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say that I do need to do better. But if you ever question my commitment to United, that's when I have to speak up. Now, my reaction to that was, you know what I think would have helped Rashford, and maybe we won't ever be privy to that information. He wants to keep it close to his chest. But if Marcus Rashford could have and probably should have inside this article, like, addressed what happened in Belfast. he should have apologised directly to Manchester United fans for what happened in Belfast, and maybe given a sort of perspective as to say, this is kind of what happened. You know, I've realised it was a massive mistake. I shouldn't have done it. I apologise. It won't happen again. But this is what happened. Whereas about 60% of the article was more about how much I'm committed to United. When I used to get 3-4 buses to the cliff, when I turned down money from big money moves to stay at Manchester United, I think that would have gone some way to actually being more like a heart-to-heart. Actually trying to explain to United fans the mistakes that he's made this season. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm going to go down and read some of your comments here. I just think it's a very interesting... it's an interesting... As I said, it's not an interview. I think Ross is right in saying it's more like an open letter. Vicky, you're saying, I think he addressed it. You're saying there was a lag that went out and he shouldn't have. That's not really addressing it, in my opinion. That's not really sort of explaining what was going on. Because as football fans, all we can do is judge a footballer by what happens in a 90-minute game once or twice a week. That's how the majority of a football fan's relationship with a player is built. And then on top of that is what goes on during the week. And a shit ton of that is not inside the control of the player. It's in control of the media, of the narrative that gets pushed and actions and consequences. And Marcus Rashford was his own problem there by going out in Belfast. He created that narrative. So we can't blame anybody else for that. But this was his attempt to make United fans remember how much he cares about United. But as I said, for United fans, actions speak louder than words. That's what everybody said before Ineos came in. And then Barada was appointed, and now we're going to go and get Ashworth. And like, oh, there you go. Actually, actions are there. And then Ineos are now starting to gain more support among the United fans that were pessimistic at the start. With Marcus Rashford, people are looking at him going, actions speak louder than words. We need to see it on the pitch. And if Marcus Rashford goes and buries a winner against City in the derby on Sunday, then the narrative will switch and change. Jack, I'm going to read your super chat there. Thank you for sending this, dude. You're saying, if you have one off season, fair enough, but he's had, 3 good seasons max? He's not consistent enough to be our star player. When did he sign that new contract? At what point last season did he sign it? I can't remember. I think it was last season, wasn't it? I think it was anyway. Obviously, that was his breakthrough season. He had the 2019-20 season where it was an absolute stormer. So yeah, I think that's fair. He's had 2 or 3 real top level seasons, and then the other ones he's kind of been up and down. But is there any footballer that just consistently has incredible seasons? There are. They're the absolute top elite tier, but they are kind of far and few between. Gear, you're saying Rashford's words mean nothing. He plays terrible. I think a lot, look, trust me, I've seen some of the reaction, which is why I wanted to have this conversation this morning. So many United fans. In fact, look, right, I'll do this now. 1 second. I'm going to go on the comments on my own video. Right? My own video from yesterday. Looking around the mid. I'm going to pull some of them up. All right. Let's look through them here. Matt saying 120% effort on gaslighting, 30% effort off the ball. Bold move releasing that video days before the City game. Talk is cheap. Let's see him back up the words. The best example of proving people wrong is Harry Maguire. Walking around the field during a competitive match is a crime. I've defended Marcus, but I can't do it any longer. Can always rely on Rashford's PR team to come to the rescue. How about doing it on the pitch? Rashford, more statements, apologies, and tweets than goals this season. I think this is pathetic. You can see what the wider reaction... this is I say a wider reaction. This isn't a wider reaction. This is the reaction of the comments that exist on my reaction. So I can't say that this represents all Manchester United fans. But boy, once upon a time, and I'm not saying this is old man moaning, right? This is completely true. Once upon a time, United fans, you would just completely back your players into a corner until you just got dragged away from it. And it was properly like you came into United and you closed the doors off, and it was an us against them mentality. It really was. And Beckham is the perfect example of that. In that documentary, he's all the noise that's going on outside. Come inside. Fuck the rest of them. You're here now. It's... I don't know. I think it's because there's far more visibility now, right? Social media. Look, I've got a voice. You wouldn't have known who I was 10 years ago, right? You wouldn't have known who I was. So I've got a voice. I've got a platform. Loads of people have got voices and loads of people have got platforms. And negativity makes more noise. It does. It really does. It's part and parcel of the modern football fan culture. I think I would probably describe it as. That being said, right? Marcus Rashford has got to be better. I think the fact that he did this he did this sort of open letter is just, I'm trying to think of the way to describe it. That right there is proof of, not proof, but a real indicator to where he is from a mental perspective. He's not able to keep it all locked inside anymore and able to just bury it, push it to the side and carry on. It's affecting him. And you can clearly see that on the pitch because he's not Marcus Rashford. He's not Marcus Rashford from last season. Jibak, you're saying, if I were a high performer at work and my boss took away all my tools and gave me a stopgap task I'm not good at, I'd lose interest too. Marcus is a human. I mean, to a certain degree. Took away all your tools. Well, I don't really know what you mean there. Well, asking him to play up front instead of left wing. I'm a little bit... He is a human, yeah, he is. I know that. I'm confused by that comment. I'm confused. There's a couple more super chats, and I'm going to open up the Discord, and we're going to get some live call-ins. And you're saying, don't question his commitment to the club, but he has thrown down the gauntlet. Work on the pitch now must match his emotion and conviction off of it. It's a very fair comment there from Ant. And yeah, as I said, like, honestly, 90%, maybe that's a bit much. 80% of a player's relationship with fans is built off what happens on that pitch. The reason United fans love Rooney is not because of what he did off the pitch, it's because of all the goals that he scored for United, because of everything he did and all the memories he built playing for our football club. And Rashford has built those memories. And there's also the memories of this season, where he's just been a ghost. He has. King Eric, you're saying the whole club has been inconsistent in the last 10 years. It's preposterous to expect any player to have consistency in such an environment. Well, yeah, you know what I think about that. The environment of Manchester United, boy. There has been a graveyard. Gary Neville said that, and he was right about that. Ray, you're saying, until Rashford leaves, I'm backing him. Come on, Rashford. I think the wider reaction to that interview yesterday, it really is indicative of how different it is to be a footballer in the modern game, and how much more susceptible and open you have to be to facing visible criticism from your own fans. Whereas previously that would have been kind of restricted to the wider press or opposition fans when you got hounded in a stadium. You now get hounded by your own fan base. A lot. Right, what I'm going to try and do now, let's see if this works, okay? It'll be cool if it does. Right, I think it might. We've got the Discord here. You can see me in the live chat. I can see a few of you in the waiting area. We've got Chris, we've got Alex, we've got Ant, Joe, Neil, and Pyro. Let's see if this works. I'm going to bring some of you, if you can, just ask a question. Let's bring in, Ant, you're always good for a chat. Let's see if this works. You're in? Is it working? Let's see if the people can hear you. Well, you got to unmute your mic first. Let's see if this works. Well, doesn't look like Ant's going to unmute his mic. So we're going to have to pull Ant back out. And Chris, you're there. You got your mic unmuted. Are you there for a chat? Does it work? Chris is going out as well. Well, this is really an absolute catastrophe. Joe, do you want to come in for a chat? If not, I'm going to end this straight away. Well, sometimes you try things, ladies and gents. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. Look, maybe we'll go back to that later. But absolutely nobody wanted to come into chat. Oh, Alex, you're there to chat, are you?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Sam?
I can hear you. Can the people hear you? That was embarrassing. But I can hear you. Alex.
I don't know. I don't know if the people can hear me because I've put the volume down on the stream. But yeah, I mean,
we can.
The question I was going to ask you really was about the game. It was more about how we set up. But that Rashford piece has kind of taken. It feels like all the chat about Sunday has gone because we're all talking about that piece.
Why? What do you mean? Why is that a problem?
I just think the team need to focus, and it feels like right now everyone's shone a spotlight on Marcus because of the timing of releasing that piece. And I just think the team need to focus on Sunday. It's one of our biggest games of the season, surely.
I mean, I wonder, as I said, I wonder how prepared that release time was. I mean, I'm guessing Rashford would have known when it was going to be released. I'll be interested to find out when it was recorded, because I don't think that would have been done in the last few days. But yeah, I suppose it could be a distraction. I'm going to speak about the game next anyway, but I don't know. I
mean, yeah, my question for you was going to be how do we set up for this game? Simple question, difficult answer.
Well, I don't know. I'll speak about the City game in a bit, man. I was just wanting to speak about Rashford for now because I haven't got to that part of the show yet. But it's all right.
Okay, but I think my only view on Rashford, I'd say, is that like you say, it's pretty brave coming out and saying this, but Ant just put a super chat on the stream, and I kind of agree with him on this, and that it's one thing saying don't question the effort I'm putting in, but now he's got to start performing on the pitch, because if you're going to start saying that's what the fans want, right? They just want the action to speak louder than the words, like you said in your video. And I'm the same. I'll back any United player to the end if they're actually putting the effort in, and we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation if he was showing that he was putting the effort in.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem as well.
Yeah,
is the body language.
Yeah, well, I suppose we'll see on Sunday, won't we?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, he's put the pressure on himself there, but mate, Alex, thanks for joining in. Well, at least it works. At least we know it works. It's a good starting point. It's a good starting point.
Nice one. And yeah, just another thing, Sam.
Yeah.
Like, big up the leveling up of what you're doing. Like,
thanks, man.
I've been part of it for more than a year now, and you've progressed it hugely. So, yeah, cheers, dude. Massive respect for what you're doing.
Mate. Thanks for being a part of it, and thanks for helping the whole way as well.
Happy to help.
Cheers, dude. Let me just boot you back into the waiting area. But it worked. It worked. Good starting point. Thank you very much, Alex, for tuning in and making sure I wasn't just left out on my own, because that would have been embarrassing. Right, let me pull that back up. Let's go back into the show. Right. You know what I said to finish this Rashford conversation? Because you know what? I don't like a lot of the reaction I'm seeing. So many United fans are just ready to just boot him out. Fuck him. Nah, sod that. Piss off. I just don't like it. But Rashford, the only way you can, as I said, 80 to 90% of a fan's relationship with a player is based on what that player does on the pitch. And quite frankly, a lot of the poisonous reaction to that Rashford interview tells you how frustrated United fans are right now. Do it on the pitch. Bang in a goal against City on Sunday. And you know, and one thing as well that's contrast is important, because we've seen what Rasmus Højlund has done in a Manchester United shirt this season. And the guy didn't score for 14 games. And it wasn't through a lack of correct positioning. It was through a lack of service. He was always in the right spot. But Man United players rarely tried to find him. And he didn't throw his arms down. He didn't get angry. He just continued piling through until eventually, through his own graft and work, he created the opportunity that he scored the winner against Villa. And then he went on to score 7 goals in 6 games. And he just kept going. It was against Forest. I think Rashford made like a couple of runs as the number 9, isolated. Nobody spotted his run. And then the shoulders dropped. He got frustrated. Like, I don't think Ten Hag is doing him any favours by playing him as a centre forward. I will say that firstly. But he hasn't played there all season. Okay, he's only played there in the last couple of games. Play him on the left wing. Play McTominay up front. Play Garnacho on the right wing. That's what I want to see. And for Marcus, the only way that you come out of this current mental state that you're in is by doing it on the pitch. But yeah, as I said, I'm surprised to see the level of United fans that are ready to just stomp all over their own players. It's not as if it's just Marcus bloody Rashford, is it? I mean, I've got so bored, so unbelievably bored of the Bruno Fernandes narrative that exists among United fans that I did a video on him yesterday. Like, it's not even close. Not even slightly close. Bruno Fernandes is the best signing we've made post-Fergie. It's like he's like number 1 by some distance. I don't even know who'd be close to second. But no one is. Yet so many United fans sound like fans of other clubs when they speak about Bruno Fernandes. And they focus on his petulance and they say, oh, he's an abysmal captain. I'll boot him out of the team. And it's like, you fucking give over, man. If we had half of the squad that had the sort of approach that Bruno Fernandes had, we wouldn't be in this spot. He's an emotional player. And other people can use that to their advantage. But I really enjoyed hearing Erik ten Hag defend Bruno Fernandes. And that's why I did the same thing yesterday. Defend your players, man. And get into scraps over them. United fans seem to agree with fans of other clubs far more than arguing in defence of their own players these days. And I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a reason that Kevin De Bruyne called Bruno Fernandes a creative machine. You want to know that? Right. Let's have a quick look here, ladies and gents. The most chances created in the Premier League since Bruno Fernandes made his Manchester United debut. That's Bruno Fernandes. Number 1, with 407 chances created. Let's see who's number 2. You getting bored now? Yep, this is how much more creative Bruno Fernandes is than Kevin De Bruyne. That's ridiculous. Do you have any? Like, Kevin De Bruyne is a ridiculous player. Tron Carter, that's such a crap stat. He spams crosses. He creates goal-scoring fucking opportunities. My God, the amount of wasted chances that we've had that Bruno has made over these last few years. Boy, I don't get what United fans want. Abbas, Sam, stop this. No, pal, you can get off the show because I'm not stopping this. I will defend my players, and I do not give a crap. Right? I do not give a crap if I get proven wrong. Do not give a crap if I get proven wrong and these players don't work out. Right? Prince, do you watch the game or do you look at stats? Yeah, I look at the game, and this season Bruno Fernandes hasn't been at the levels that he has set in these previous seasons. And that's why his petulance is bubbling more to the surface. And that's why people are holding on to that. And people are talking garbage, Sam. Okay, yeah. Talking garbage. That a player has created 70 more chances than Kevin De Bruyne in the Premier League since his debut at the club. But I am chatting garbage. You do you, ladies and gents. You do you. What would you rather do? Just boot De Bruyne. Honestly, I've said this before. There are at least 15, probably between 15 and 20 players I would get rid of out of this squad before I go anywhere near talking about Bruno Fernandes. At least. We have so many bigger problems at this football club. And that's what confuses me the most about people's energy towards criticising the best signing that we've had post-Fergie. Like, boys and girls, there are so many better places for you to focus your energy. And I understand your frustrations towards him. He's not mate. The petulance needs to stop. I don't get it. I thought he was going to mature as a captain. I hoped he was going to mature and be able to use your emotions. Like, Rooney was an aggressive player. He played with his heart on his sleeve. And when other people got control of that, that's when Rooney lashed out, and when the aggression became too far. And Bruno Fernandes, his petulance is becoming too much this season because he's frustrated at United being naff. And he's putting in full tilt work, but sometimes you don't have to run. Sometimes you can hold your position. And again, this is something that he has to develop. But of all the people and this is why I will argue with anybody down here in the comments, anybody. Of all the players for you to have energy towards booting out of the club, Bruno Fernandes is just such an odd one for you to target. It really, really is. And I don't understand that. Showtime Twin. I'm going to read a couple of your comments out down here. I've already read a couple. I'm chatting shit, apparently. Chatting garbage. Showtime Twin. Thanks for super chat, dude. You're saying Bruno is by far our best player right now. He's doing too much to help us succeed, which hampers his own game. He's creative, selfless. He is pretty selfless, mate. And this, as I said, this is why I was happy to see Erik ten Hag defend him. I really, really was. In fact, I'm not even sure I can be bothered in the comments. I will. I'll go down here. Nathan saying Bruno doesn't need the captaincy. When Licher is fit, make him captain. I don't think I'd take the captaincy away from Bruno Fernandes. Personally. I hope we build a midfield that allows Bruno Fernandes to simply... I mean, the number 10 position... The number 10 position is not dead in modern football, right? At all. But it's very much changed towards having two number 8s. Previously, it was a 4-2-3-1, wasn't it? Four defenders, 2 central midfielders, 1 number 10, 2 wingers, and a striker. That was kind of the traditional setup. Whereas with United right now, we don't have particularly 1 number 10. We have 2 number 8s, hybrids, the pressing hybrids. Number 6, number 8 hybrid who sits deeper. I would love us to have a midfield where Bruno Fernandes can just focus on this part of the game. All right? His greatest strengths exist in the opposition's half. His biggest weaknesses exist when he's in his own half. That's where he doesn't have positional discipline. That's where he can be very loose with his passes. That's where he can try and move it up the field too fast. And these are all correct and true. But as a comment there said, yeah, he he does too much, and you can do too much. You can work smart, not hard, and all that. I think a lot of the times, Bruno works hard rather than smart, and that has to change. But yeah, if anybody thinks I'm going to be throwing Bruno under the bus, yeah, you're not going to get that on this channel. Now I'm going to move on to talk about the derby. I hope this doesn't come across as a confrontational show this morning. It's not what. It's not the. It's not the premise of the show. But I just don't understand why United fans are gunning for our own players so much. Bruno and Rashford, probably the biggest two. Harry Maguire, Harry Maguire is the player that I criticised more than anybody, I think, on this channel. I've done like 3 or 4 videos on him last season. Was it last season? I think it was last season. No, it was the season before. Can't actually remember. I think it was the season before. Criticised him heavily. And I said that as captain of Manchester United, you had to be held to a different standard. And maybe the same concept is why you're holding Bruno Fernandes to that same standard. But if we can just get this midfield working and allowing Bruno to just stay in the opposition's half, then that's where we're going to get the best out of Bruno Fernandes again. Don't make him operate in our half. It's frustrating. Now I'm going to move on to the City game, right? I want to ask you, if I was to say, when you mention the derby, what's the first photo you think of? So I've got a photo up on here. Any time I think about the derby, I always think of this one straight away. I want to see what's the first thing that pops up into your head. I'm going to read some of them out. And if you can, ladies and gents, if you are enjoying the show, please drop a like on it. It does make a big difference. And if you are new, please do subscribe to United People's TV. I'd love to have you on board. I really would. JM, Zigzag, Alex, Josh, Imole, Mania, and all of you are saying Rooney overhead. The overwhelming majority of you are saying overhead. Anthony, you're saying Van Persie 4-3. McTominay's intercepted goal. Was that last season? Was that when he scored from 30 yards over the goalkeeper? Owen Winner says Nathan. Nobody said my photo yet. I don't know what. This is just, for the life of me, this is always the first thing that sticks into my head when I think about the derby. And I love this photo. Because this was at the time when the derby actually mattered. Prior to this, prior to money coming into City, prior to Tevez, it was Tevez going to City where it really sort of the animosity sort of flipped and switched in the derby. I think was it that season where we ended up playing them in the League Cup, and it was a double header, and that's when Rooney scored the winner at Old Trafford. I think it was, but I will always remember that photo because it sums up how how I feel about a derby, and I have, like 75% of the derbies in the last however many years, I don't know how many years, I've just not enjoyed watching. Obviously, we've won a couple. Solskjaer had Guardiola's number. We beat City last season as well. But largely, it's just not been an enjoyable watch. And we're going into this game on Sunday just saying, please don't violate us. Please don't violate us. And that's just the truth. Given how we played against Fulham, given how sloppy we were against Forest, given our record away against anybody inside the top 9. Obviously, we broke that against Villa, but I am nervous. I'm gonna release my starting 11 video coming out soon. Can I just quickly say here, congrats to Ten Hag, nominated for Manager of the Month. Congrats to Rasmus Højlund, the man. It sucks balls that we don't have Rasmus Højlund for this game. It really does. It's so frustrating, and it's just that the injuries this season have been part and parcel of the season for everybody, really. And when it comes to the injuries and the style of play that Erik ten Hag's football has, it's very full tilt. There's a lot of covering large amounts of space. It's almost, United almost play like a bleep test sometimes. Just sprinting forward and sprinting back as fast as possible. And if you do that enough times, you're gonna ping a hamstring. You're gonna get muscular injuries. It's part and parcel of it. But I'm rather nervous about the game. This is what Erik ten Hag said about it. He said, no, look, he goes, it's not the season-defining match. There are many more games to play in the FA Cup after City, many more games we have to catch up, but more games to catch up and get into the right position. I think the only way this game is season-defining would be a strong way to describe it. But if Man United get, like, turned over, I mean just, like, obliterated by City, that's going to be a problem. Sorry, my leg's a bit painful. Might have to wrap this up quite soon. If we get steamrolled by City, I'm talking like your 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, that will be extremely damaging. And like it's the case with every manager that's existed at Manchester United, when your back's against the wall and you're under pressure, it's these games against the big rivals that have the biggest impact. I think the only result from this that could be defining is if City steamroll us. I think if we draw or if we win there, I don't think winning there will be incredible, but I don't think it'll be season defining because we've got FA Cup against Liverpool coming up in 2 weeks' time. We've got Everton next as well. But I'm nervous. Now, in terms of team news, Erik ten Hag said this yesterday. Squad's looking pretty similar. That means that Harry Maguire won't be fit to play. That means that Malacia is still missing, presumed kidnapped somewhere in Guatemala, lost in a jungle. I don't know. Malacia, does he even exist anymore? Or was he just a fabric of our imagination? Sod knows. But apparently he's still a footballer for United, but he's still not going to be playing for us. Martial, he's not going to play for us again. Martinez is out. Mason Mount is still out. Again, even Mason Mount's injuries. It's like, dude, like, what on earth? How is he still out? I swear it was November. Was it November where Mason Mount went out with a hamstring injury? I think it was. I've got no idea. But they're all going to be missing, and Wan-Bissaka is still unavailable. So Wan-Bissaka being unavailable means that Wan-Bissaka can't come in, and that doesn't solve our fullback problems, which means that's the biggest question that we've still got. Who plays at left back? Who plays at right back? Amrabat, out of possession, looks super slow against Forest. Lindelof, he's not the answer at left back. In possession, Amrabat looks so much better than Lindelof did. So do you take the risk of having that? I don't know. Right, I don't know. I'm going to run through my starting 11. Hey. Save the Dungle. Did I hear my name? You did, actually, to a certain degree. This one's quite exciting, but I don't think it's going to lead to anything that happens in the game at the weekend. But Gabriel Birancheri, the 17-year-old striker from our under-18s, trained with the first team. And I think it might be the first time he did. I'm surprised it's the first time that he has trained there, given how we've not really had a striker fit at all this season. So I'm surprised that it's taken this long, but it's good that he's getting the opportunity to train with the first team. I don't think he'll be in the squad, or maybe he will be in the squad on the bench. I don't quite know. We'll see. We will see. Someone's saying that the stream is quiet today. I think I might have accidentally turned down my mic, actually. That might be slightly better, actually. Don't know how that's happened. Anyway, apologise about that. Bring in the youth, says someone. Put him in. We'll see. He might get a game on the bench because we've got hardly anybody in terms of attacking options. What are we saying down here in the comments? Can we sneak a 12th player on the pitch? Yeah, just pay off the ref. Come on, man. Keep it old school. Charlie McNeil, I think he's on. Did he go? He went on loan to, was it Stockport? And I think he got recalled and might have gone somewhere else. Was it Accrington? Don't actually know where he is. I don't actually know where he is. But yeah, man, I'm nervous for this game on Sunday. What's your predictions then? Fire them in the comments. What is your prediction for the game on Sunday? I'm going to keep my prediction for the starting 11 video, which will go out round about 1 o'clock today. And then tomorrow, I hope you enjoy it. We're going to be releasing the video we released on Højlund and speaking about his breakthrough and his mental resilience and how that's probably one of his greatest strengths. Going to be releasing a video in the same sort of style on Paul Pogba's career, which I hope you all really, really enjoy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go down here and read these. I'm not really sure I want to read these predictions. Let's be honest. Chris, 1-1. Oh, you're feeling chipper. Hopefully a 1-1, says Brian. 5-0 City, says Sarub. John, you're going for a 3-0 loss. A 3-0 Rashi masterclass. Imagine that. That would be class. 5-0, says Ross. 3-0 City. I don't want to think about it, says Poiler. Poiler? Paula and a boiler combined is Poiler. Paula. 4-1 City, says Neville. Clock, you say 4-1 City. Ha. Yeah, if we forfeit the game, it's only 3-0. Easy. Take that. Well, it's a joke. But I'll run through my starting 11. I'll run through my predictions. And it's kind of how I feel about the game. But to wrap up that show there, as I said, I think the reaction to this among the fan base is just really indicative of the relationships that football players have with fans these days. Oh, Gungshi, I think you gifted 10 memberships earlier and I didn't actually press the button. Because Steve, you just gifted 5. 1 sec.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football.
I nearly forgot that. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the map either. The map's coming up very soon. Don't you be worrying about that. Steve, you gifted 5 memberships as well. I apologise, Gungshi, but nearly missed it. I didn't, but I nearly did. And Steve, thank you very much for reminding me about gifting 5 memberships. You absolute don. And thank you to everyone. I hope the Discord didn't work fluidly there because I don't think there's too many members who actually actively use Discord. We've got a nice core audience here, but there are so many of you who are members that simply don't tune in and come into the Discord. Come into the members chat. That's what it's there for. This community goes deeper than the live chat. Mike, you're saying, hi Sam, watched An Evening with Jim Ratcliffe last night. It was filmed a year ago. Great insight into his personality. It's well worth a watch. I might have a look at that. I may well have a look at that. But yeah, of course, it's map day. You know it's map day today. Come on, it's Friday. Get vibey. You know the drill by now. Let me know where you're watching from, the city and the country, and I'll get you on the map. Let's see where we've got on here. We've got Porto. We've got Brno in Czech Republic, Alberta, Canada, Darmstadt in Germany, Lusaka in Zambia. We've got Managua in Nicaragua. Plenty of you joining in. Let's have a look. We've got Zaki watching from Pahang in Malaysia. On board. We've got Pahang in Malaysia. On you go, sir. Welcome in. We've got, what else we got down here? We've got We've got Ross watching from Hoi An in Vietnam. Big up to you. Got a good mate Adam who's traveling around Vietnam right now. I think he's in Ho Chi. Big up to him. He had like one of those 10-hour buses the other day. I remember those. Damn. I went around Southeast Asia twice. It was a great trip, to be fair. I'd definitely go back. We've got Piccolo watching from Fayetteville in US. Where is that? North Carolina. Are you going to go to the game? Is the game in South Carolina? I think it's against Arsenal in South Carolina in the preseason. I think it is. I might be wrong, but I think it is. And let's get one more on here. We've got Florian watching from, you're watching from Mauritius, but you didn't say where in Mauritius. Remember that. You've got to say city and the town. We've got Lisa Jensen. You're watching from, where's that? Is that a place? Viby in Denmark? Viby J. I want to go live in Viby J. Right, I'm moving. That's the end of the United People's TV. I'm going to go live in Viby J. All right? You can't not live in a place that sounds that cool. Marcel, you just gifted 10 memberships to... Oh, man, what a brilliant way to end the live shows this week.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
A little gift
Football,
from Marcel. Gifts from everybody. That's 25 gifted memberships. And can I say it's been a brilliant week? My leg is quite sore now, so I'm going to have to go and put this up because it's throbbing. I'm going to try and get that Start 11 video out later today. Tomorrow will be the Pogba video, and then I'll be back here on Sunday with the match reaction. I'm not massively optimistic. But Marcus, please bang in a goal against City at the Etihad. Please do that. That is what we need. That's what a lot of fans need. All right? Big up to all of you. Thank you all for tuning in. John, if I'm well enough, I will do the answers before the game on Sunday. I'll let you know inside the Discord. But much love to all of you. Take it easy.